It's the year 1999. The internet was starting to spread worldwide. People from all over the world now have a computer in their home connected to the internet. With a massive amount of interest with the internet and how the World Wide Web works, movies with the same topic were bound to show up. A movie that would change how we think of the world would be released. That movie is known as The Matrix. Here's a quick synopsis of The Matrix. In the distant future, AI has risen up against humans and enslaved them for fuel by putting them in pods. The pods connect humans into a simulation called The Matrix. Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, and the rest of their crew have to stop the Matrix and save humanity. The first Matrix movie came out on March 31st with positive reviews all around. One thing it was praised for was having a well thought out story with superb world building. This video will discuss what made The Matrix's world building great and how it uses convergence culture to expand on it.
Get me the hell out of here!
Welcome to the real world.
So you're here to save the world.
So what do you need?
Guns. Lots of guns.
The first part of the movie is used to introduce the Matrix and its characters. We don't get much backstory to what happened in the world. As Neo breaks out of the Matrix, it slowly comes together and explains just what the Matrix is and how it came to be.
This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. This is the world as it exists today. We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI. You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun.
We can assume from these clips that there was a war against the AI. When the humans blocked out the sun, the robots resorted to using humans as fuel. They set the story up in a way where more can be added to the world. Viewers who watch the movies would begin to ask some deep questions about the Matrix's lore. Questions like, who started the war? How did the machines rise to power? How did the world respond to that rising power? Why do the machines look more alien than human? Their questions would be answered after the second installment of the Matrix movies.
What if the prophecy is true? What if tomorrow the war could be over? Isn't that worth fighting for? Isn't that worth dying for?
Released on May 7th, 2003, The Matrix Reloaded expanded more on the story and its world. Soon after it was released, Enter the Matrix and The Animatrix were released. It expands more on what was told in the first and second movie. It shows the perspectives of different characters in the Matrix lore and what they went through in their story. Each individual affects the main movies and is all connected. After the third movie, it has expanded on the original story to the point where there is unlimited amount of possibilities for more world building to take place. With unlimited possibilities for more world building, creators and writers who choose to write for the universe of The Matrix can easily build off of what has come before. With more world building, the deeper the lore. There's so much background in the story because of all the previous titles adding in more and more world building. The more lore added onto the world building, the more questions that are answered. Or maybe, there are more questions that are unanswered.
The history of the video game is just that, history. On May 15th, history begins again.
There is only one way to enter the Matrix.
If we fail, Neo fails, and that cannot happen at any cost.
On May 15th, The Matrix goes interactive. Battle alongside the original motion picture cast on a mission that comes down to one question. In the war to save Zion, what part will you play? Enter The Matrix. The future is now in play. Rated T for teen.
In the beginning, there was man. Then man made the machine in his own likeness. Thus did man become the architect of his own demise.
From the creators of the Matrix trilogy. What is the Animatrix?
We know the truth now.
Experience the extraordinary fusion of CG animation and Japanese anime in a groundbreaking collection of 9 animated stories from 7 visionary directors that takes the world of the Matrix to its unimaginable limits.
The Matrix came out at a time where big convergence culture was starting to blow up. The Matrix took advantage of the different media of the times by releasing both the video game and the animated shorts after The Matrix Reloaded. These 2 editions added greatly to the lore of The Matrix by fleshing out what happened in the movies, as well as describing the history of the world before The Matrix. Then, after the 3rd installment, Path of Neo was released as well, adding on more world building and behind the scenes, even after the trilogy was over. As a viewer, knowing all the lore that some people might not know about invests them more into the story than casual moviegoers. The 4th Matrix movie is coming out in 2021, and many people are excited to see what they're gonna do for the next one. Since the announcement of this, viewers are speculating what the plot will be about. Using the information from all media related to The Matrix, theorists can come up with a good idea of what's to come. We will have to see what Lana Wachowski has in store for the moviegoers. To this day, The Matrix is regarded as the best sci-fi movie of the 2000s for its captivating story with a believable universe. With its different media and a whole cast of characters, this world can get you fully immersed. Unless you're already immersed.